When you're in winter's favorite town, the snow-covered mountains surround you. A historic Main Street charms you. And every day brings a new adventure. Welcome to Park City, Utah. Naturally, winter's favorite town. Join the experience at visitparkcity.com.
Ryan Reynolds here for, I guess, my 100th Mint commercial. No, don't. I mean, honestly, when I started this, I thought I only have to do like 4 of these. I mean, it's unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month. How are there still people paying 2 or 3 times that much? I'm sorry, I shouldn't be victim blaming here. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch. Whenever you're ready.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.
Productivity, winning strategies, and aligning employer-employee goals. If this sounds like something your business could use more of, then you've come to the right place. The Business Mechanic Show with your host, Vaughn Sigmund. Let Vaughn show you how to develop, improve, and jumpstart your business. So now, please welcome the host of The Business Mechanic, Vaughn Sigmund.
Welcome to the Business Mechanic Show, where growth is the name of the game. I'm your host, Vaughn Sigmund, co-founder of Results Driven Leadership. At Results Driven Leadership, we offer the essential tools and expertise to help you achieve exponential growth and take your management success to new heights. Our expert guidance will empower you to establish a culture of progress and unleash your company's full potential, achieving success at a faster pace. Join us as we help you thrive in the competitive world of business. It's time to embrace your company's true potential and achieve the success you deserve. Let us help you make it a reality. Today's show is brought to you by Align. Achieve big goals and achieve them faster. Align is strategic growth management software that will break your revenue glass ceiling and transform your business from startup to scale up. I use Align with my clients, and you should use it too. Click on the Align logo in the show notes and check them out. You'll thank me for it. So, for today's show, I want to share with you a story. I'm going to call it a case study. It's a story about this surprising relationship between accountability and workplace happiness. Those sometimes in many managers' minds conflict with each other. And just this past week, I was meeting with one of my clients, someone I recently helped recruit to this organization, and she has made amazing inroads to success in this organization. One that was successful, but the president of the company just knew there was many more things this company could accomplish, but they just couldn't get there. So he engaged me to go find Nicole, and I found Nicole, brought her into the organization. Nicole's just frankly been amazing. And as I was sitting down and talking with Nicole last week about many things, but we were talking about leadership and what she was doing to make these significant changes within the organization, she started sharing some personal stories with me. And at the end of one of those, I said, Nicole, I'm stealing that story. And in fact, I'm going to turn it into a podcast. I think it is so powerful. So as I share this with you, this is a true story. And Nicole, I won't name the company or the companies involved here, but I thank you for the inspiration to share your story today. You're a truly amazing individual. So as I go through what I find a very eye-opening case study, you're going to find out how high levels of accountability can surprisingly drive employee engagement, along with satisfaction in the workplace. And contrary to traditional beliefs, high levels of accountability can drive employee happiness and engagement. And in Nicole's case study, we're going to delve into her story as a vice president at his insurance company who was tasked with turning around the worst performing team in the entire organization. But Nicole's approach was atypical. She reversed the traditional belief that too much pressure, too much accountability could lead to burnout and unhappiness for the employees. Instead, she implemented more accountability and transparency within the team. And I'm going to give you much more details on that. And the result of her putting additional pressure and accountability, setting high expectations, being very transparent about it, the result was a happier, more engaged workforce, who, by the way, delivered far higher results for the organization. This was a big organization. So today I'm going to help you discover how Nicole faced the challenging situation of an underperforming team that she didn't ask for. She was voluntold for. How she identified and addressed the issues and the surprising results that were achieved. And I want you all listening to this podcast today to learn from her experience, become more bold with her experience, and be inspired by her experience, and explore how you can use accountability to promote workplace happiness and drive improved engagement and productivity within your team, within your organization. So here was the challenge. Nicole discovered, as she entered and was assigned this team, as she started spending time with them, she discovered a team that was plagued by laziness. They were plagued, drugged down by ineffective processes. They lacked urgency. And in fact, they're most companies, most managers' worst nightmare. These employees were disengaged. They were unhappy. They complained about everything. They didn't like each other. They didn't like the employer, but yet they had been there for a very long time. In fact, this group of employees were fairly tenured. And as part of all this, they were charged with mandatory overtime. They all were expected to put in mandatory overtime, and not surprisingly, this mandatory overtime was a major source of discontent, despite that the amount of work justified it. See, Nicole had been around. She knew how much could get done. And this group had no more work to do than others she had worked with. But somehow this group couldn't get it done in just 40 hours. So the person before her solved it in his way. Says, okay, everybody's going to work 10 extra hours a week. We're going to work mandatory overtime because we can't get it done in 40. Sounds a little crazy that the company accepted this. But let's find out how Nicole navigated these challenges and created this happy, engaged, productive team. As Nicole was connecting with her new team, she discovered that this group of employees had become disengaged, and this very popular new term, quietly quit. And she had also recognized one of my favorite terms. She recognized that Parkinson's law was firmly in place. And if you're not familiar with Parkinson's law, it simply states that the job was expanding to the time allotted. Let that sink in for a minute. Parkinson's law is that the job expands to the time allotted. Let's start right there, she decided. This realization prompted her to make some very quick and immediate changes and address the underlying issues. She decided to end all mandatory overtime. You're unhappy with it, mandatory overtime? It's over. No more overtime. However, she set the expectation that all their work had to be done in 40 hours. So you don't want overtime, I'm not going to make you work it, but you got to get your work done in 40 hours. That is Parkinson's law. She has now set the standard for amount of time that her team had to achieve the work expectations, to get their work completed. And then she went about holding her employees accountable. And despite initial resistance and the complaints that came with that from her team, this change from hours and hours of overtime pay all going away. And as you might know, this is a big hit to their paychecks. And in spite of that pushback, in spite of the disagreement, the force being pushed on her, she remained steadfast in her decision. And from there, she focused on holding the underperformers, the people who could not get their work done in 40 hours, accountable. They were being held accountable for their lackluster performance, their laziness, their ineffectiveness. And she directly addressed their shortcomings. She was very transparent with them. She was fair. She was honest. She was upfront. She was accountable. And those who couldn't get the job done, she told them about it. She shared with them immediately what the expectations were and how they were falling short of it. And this involved implementing performance management measures, such as write-ups, eventually some terminations, for all of those who failed to improve. But not everybody failed. There was a, not surprising to me, not surprising to Nicole, but to others, maybe some other managers who have not taken this approach. They have just suffered the poor performance for whatever internal bias they have around holding people accountable. There was very positive impact on the engagement and productivity of most of the team. And as Nicole targeted the underperforming group, she noticed a significant shift in team dynamics. The employees who responded positively to the increased accountability began delivering their work on time and at a high level of quality. Not all of them, a portion of them. In fact, it was a small portion of them. Turns out those were her best employees. Concurrently, she observed an improvement in the overall mood. In fact, not only did these unknowingly top performers begin performing at the level they could, getting their work done well and on time, across the board, she started seeing a shift in mood, a positive shift in mood within the office. There was increased engagement. There was more collaboration. There was more organic group activities. There was people recognizing people's birthdays, going to lunch together, recognizing anniversary, all organically, not stimulated by Nicole. The employees did that themselves. Never happened before, not in over a decade had anything like this ever happened in the group. It just organically happened as a byproduct of this accountability. And Nicole, who initially came across to the team as an ogre, over-demanding, a micromanager maybe, started to be appreciated by our team in many ways we're going to discuss later. She also knew that as certain team members made the changes and improvements, she made strong efforts to let them know she saw the commitments these folks were making to these improvements and shared her appreciation for that. And this recognition was something that the team had never had in the past. The previous boss had never either recognized poor performance or good performance. There was no recognition. They just existed. He just let things go as things went. He had the attitude that rewarding someone for doing their job was, no, it's just silly. They're doing their job. Why would I reward somebody for doing their job, dummy? not Nicole. She knew to get more of the positive behavior she sought, she had to catch it and reward it. And if she were to get more of it in the future, she had to continue recognizing those who were performing and improving and delivering to the expectations. So accountability works both ways. It works to bring underperformance up, and it also works to improve and emerge those people who have the potential to do more. And we're going to talk about why they weren't doing more in a minute. She gave pats on the back. She put in place an above and beyond recognition program with certificates of achievement and trophies that recognize employees. Little trophies they could put on their desk so they could remember it and other people could see that this person was doing a significantly better job than others. At the same time, she was dealing with resistance. Because some of these team members, they, of course, as I just explained, responded very positively, but there was others that were not. They refused to adapt. And she recognized those people as well. She recognized the importance of maintaining high standards and was not hesitant for a second to terminate employees who consistently failed to meet expectations. Once she set these expectations, make sure they had all the tools and materials they needed to achieve these expectations, whatever training, whatever they needed. They then chose to not meet expectations. She dealt with that. And believe me, once you set these expectations, you give them the tools, the materials, the knowledge they need to achieve these expectations, to meet expectations. If they don't, they're making a choice. That's not a choice you're making. That doesn't make you a bad person. They're making a conscious choice not to meet expectations. And she continually held these folks accountable to the point of terminating some of them. Not a lot of them, but some of them. And some of them that she terminated had very long tenures with the company. Nicole did not associate loyalty to success. She associated success with success, and she applied it equally. And her commitment to accountability started paying off significantly. Didn't happen immediately. It took her some number of weeks. But under her leadership, this underperforming division, the worst in the company, transformed from the lowest rated to the highest rated division in the company. And this all took place within a year. And both Nicole and her team received accolades and recognition, becoming examples of the excellence within the organization. And some of the key takeaways from this case study of Nicole and how she approached this very difficult situation with a very difficult team highlights two essential lessons. Lesson one, it emphasizes the importance of holding teams accountable, as I've made very clear. Second, and clear and fair expectations can drive individuals to deliver their best work. So accountability, clear expectations, those two together deliver the very best work. And then the second part of that, it emphasizes, and this sometimes gets lost on people, it emphasizes the detrimental effect of underperformers on the overall team morale, especially for those who have the potential or are high-performing individuals. They become demoralized when they witness poor performers getting away with it, going unchallenged. It brings them down. You'll get less out of your high performers or potentially high performers when you're letting underperformers get away with it without accountability. 100% of the time. 100% of the time. Please keep that in mind. And as you start learning from Nicole's great example and her success in turning around this really poor team can be attributed to her unwavering commitment to this culture of accountability, these clear expectations, giving feedback, being transparent, giving them guidance, giving them the tools, and holding each individual responsible for their performance. And of course, there's a lot more depth. There's a lot to unpack here. I could not go into all the things that Nicole did, but I'm giving you the moral lesson of all this. And her stance on accountability did amazing things to the environment, to the performance, to the good people, to the bad people, to her organization, to her peers, to the stockholders of this organization. She made people own their responsibilities. And through doing all this, she started building trust and respect. Yes, her direct approach, and Nicole, by the way, is a fairly high D on the DISC scale. She's a DI. So you're going to be fairly direct. You're also going to be fairly creative. Her direct approach to addressing this poor performance and her willingness to be very decisive, take action on it, earned her respect. She didn't hurt anybody's feelings that was worth hurting. See, by treating all of her team members fairly, impartially, she found that people that may have thought were favorites were not so much favorites. In fact, I'm going to depart from this just one second. I have another client that I work with that had a manager in the organization that has all the potential in the world, was not delivering that potential. And after some months of her underperforming to her potential, which was underperforming to the expectations, this client decided to terminate this manager. And we feared that because this person was so personable and outgoing and seemingly likable, there was going to be a negative blowback to this person being terminated. And you know what? The opposite. The opposite happened, because everybody in the organization saw that this, including the employees, saw that this manager was underperforming, that was lazy, was not getting the job done, was all smoke and mirrors, all full of BS. And there was actually a lot of smiles and claps, if you will, when this person left. So when you think about Nicole and her focus on accountability, it was not about micromanaging or being punitive, taking punitive measures. Some of you, please don't take that as the lesson here. You don't have to go become something you're not. You don't have to become an ogre. You don't have to be a hard ass. It's about creating what the byproduct of this accountability and recognition and transparency is about creating an environment where everyone has an equal opportunity to excel and contribute to the team's success. My friends, breeds success. And when you empower your top performers, this presence of your underperformers has a demoralizing effect on them. But you empower your top performers, and they become unlimited in their ability to contribute. And her actions to address this underperformance improve the entire team's performance without firing a shot at them. She didn't have to write up the whole team. Just the exceptions, just the outliers had to be dealt with. And the ones that were performing at or above expectation, They got recognized for it. She showed how much she valued and appreciated them, even for just doing their job. And they know that Nicole saw that. She pointed out to them. She thanked them. She expressed to them how valuable they were to not only her, but to the organization, how fortunate she felt to have them on the team. And this in turn inspired all of them, except for the outliers, to begin going above and beyond, which this was a big part of driving the team's transformation. This is how this happens. Nicole's example is one of many. It's not an exception. This is the norm. But if you are not following Nicole's example and you have a team that is not meeting its potential, is underperforming, constantly late, missing goals, being nice, being light is going to hold you back. And honestly, being as direct and transparent and demanding as Nicole, setting her standards, and then being unwavering to those standards, by some may seem harsh, but it's not. It's inspirational. And while Nicole's approach received positive feedback from her team members, of course, there were individuals who resisted, and those she dealt with. But she stuck to her guns. And some of them began to recognize the benefits of this accountability. And they came around. The ones that were a little on the edge, a little on the periphery, they came around. But those who chose to not improve, Nicole dealt with. Her success in transforming this underperforming team did not stop with immediate results. It continued. It started creating continuous improvement and ongoing accountability and self-accountability. She encouraged open communication. She solicited feedback. She collaborated with her team. She had regular reviews with her, group reviews around processes to identify areas for refinement, to get better. She collaborated and empowered the team. She brought them into the pool of collected knowledge of how we all get better. She tapped into all that knowledge and experience. And her team continued to strive and deliver exceptional results. And Nicole's remarkable achievement with this underperforming team had a broader impact on the organization. In fact, her success story became a source of inspiration and a benchmark for other teams in the organization. This drove a shift in mindset in many other teams within this multi-billion-dollar organization around embracing accountability, striving for excellence. In fact, Nicole was asked to make a speech at the company's annual meeting and share her journey and the importance of accountability. That is how dramatic this was within this very large organization. It was remarkable. And her team's achievements were celebrated in many different and various recognition programs. And it spread beyond their immediate division. In fact, there was other vice presidents who were inspired by Nicole's success. And they too started adopting Nicole's approach and following her lead. They followed suit. They became brave. They became inspirations. They faced difficult situations and difficult people, knowing that if they did not, they were going to be average. I don't think anybody listening to this podcast wants to be average. You're listening to this podcast for professional development, for improvement. And this is one of the key ways as a leader of your organization, of your team, of your company. It's one of the key ways, if not one of the most important ways. You are going to achieve higher levels of success. These best practices, her story, is a very valuable case study. And I'm so thrilled that she shared this experience and these strategies and these best practices with me so I can share them with you. Her insights, her approaches serve as such great lessons that should be disseminated widely to allow you, as either a business owner, an executive, or a manager, and in a way that can benefit you. So you can replicate this same success if you're not getting the level of success that you desire. And never forget the power of consequences. Her willingness to address underperformance and apply appropriate consequences, that was a very strong message to her entire team. But she created a sense of fairness by doing that. Fairness and equity that had a very strong influence on the entire team, and in many cases, the entire organization. It created an opportunity for continuous growth and adaptation. Her empowering, engaging, collaborating with her team, rewarding her team, reviewing processes. Her team became much more agile and innovative and responsive. When the market conditions changed, her team was in the forefront of making the positive adjustments to being ready for it. So let me wrap this story up. And Nicole, again, thank you for sharing this story. I can't wait to share this podcast with you. It's a compelling testament to the transformative power of accountability in the workplace. And for those of you who need it, to be challenged by conventional belief that excessive accountability leads to disengagement, Nicole's story demonstrates that employees are motivated to deliver their best work when expectations are clear, fair, and consistently enforced. Take a lead from her leadership of how she achieved these amazing results and fostered a sense of happiness and pride within her team. And ultimately positioning her and them, by the way, them as a shining example of success within the organization. And Nicole, you're an inspiration to many. And I am so happy I can share this story with others so you as leaders can unlock your full potential, to unlock your team's full potential, foster a higher level of happiness and engagement, to achieve higher levels of success, be better at what you do. Learn from this. It's a very competitive business landscape. And those who are willing to get uncomfortable and do things that don't come naturally to you or aren't comfortable to you are the ones who are going to get ahead and continue to thrive. Thrive in business, thrive in your career. Thank you for listening today. It was a pleasure to share all this. Also, I want to remind you, please use the link I put in the show notes. Check out Align. It is fabulous software. It has been a game changer for many of my clients to be able to align their team to company's goals and missions, duties and tasks. It also ties in with everything we've talked about today, which is accountability. It creates a transparency to everybody's commitments to success and holds them accountable. Thanks again to all of you for listening. As always, please follow us, share us with others, like this show, make a comment on the show. I'd love to see these comments. And if you feel like we can help you, reach out to us. I'd love to be able to help. Appreciate all listening, and we'll talk to you again next week. Well, that's a wrap on another episode of the Business Mechanic Show. If today's content resonates with you, then you're going to love what we have to offer. For those of you who are ready to take your business or personal career to the next level, we have an array of training and coaching services tailored just for you. From performance coaching designed to enhance your potential, to executive coaching that guides leaders to steer their ships towards greater success. Are you in sales management or looking to fortify your leadership acumen? Dive into our sales management training and coaching. Not only will it sharpen your strategies, but it will also provide you an ROI that's undeniable. Remember, the best investment you can make is in yourself and your team. For those seeking flexible learning options, we're excited to share our online and in-person management leadership classes. These aren't just your typical courses. They are meticulously crafted, ensuring that they align with your unique needs and aspirations. And the best part, prices start at just $47 per month, making top-tier coaching and training accessible for everyone. Your growth, both personally and professionally, can have a ripple effect, the one I call the transformational triangle of change. The skills you learn, the perspectives you gain, and the efficiencies you create can translate into increased revenues, more cohesive teams, and an enriched company culture. So why wait? The potential ROI on this investment isn't just in dollars, it's in the progressive future you're carving out for yourself and your organization. Thanks once again for tuning in. And remember, every business needs a tune-up every now and then. Let the Business Mechanic Show be your guide. Check out our website, rdltraining.com, to discover more details on our programs and coaches. We have a link in the show notes to guide you there. Until next time, we're out of here.
Hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds. Recently, I asked Mint Mobile's legal team if big wireless companies are allowed to raise prices due to inflation. They said yes. And then when I asked if raising prices technically violates those onerous two-year contracts, they said, "What the f*** are you talking about, you insane Hollywood ass?" So to recap, we're cutting the price of Mint Unlimited from $30 a month to just $15 a month. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up during inflation, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.